Relations between the royals and the BBC have routinely been scrutinised across generations, and most recently came to a head when the broadcaster was challenged over Martin Bashir's interview with Princess Diana. An inquiry into how Mr. Bashir obtained the iconic interview found that he acted in a deceitful way and used fake documents. Lord Dyson's inquiry also found that the BBC fell short of high standards of integrity and transparency, and concluded that the corporation's internal probe in 1996 was woefully ineffective. The BBC and Mr. Bashir have both apologised and written to William, as well as his brother Prince Harry. However, tensions between royals and the BBC are not limited to this one interview, as Charles reportedly fell out with their royal correspondent Mr. Witchell, and reports suggest the feud was passed on to William. The tension between Charles and Mr. Witchell, a former 6 o'clock news presenter, appears to stem from 2000, when the Shropshire-born journalist delivered a report which likened the future monarch, and his then-partner Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall, to his ancestor Edward VIII and Wallace Simpson. Writing for the Daily Mail in 2015, commentator Geoffrey Levy noted that the feud would then develop after a series of other reports delivered by Mr. Witchell also upset the royal. He wrote, "Friends of the Prince of Wales say the trigger goes back to 2000 and a report by Mr. Witchell about a planned trip to the Greek islands by Charles and Camilla." Witchell, who had been appointed royal correspondent 2 years earlier, drew parallels between that holiday and the exotic vacations of Edward VIII and his mistress Mrs. Simpson. Mr. Levy quoted a senior royal aide, who claimed Charles was absolutely furious for the BBC to make such a comparison. The aide added, "He was shouting and complaining, particularly upset that the Queen had seen Witchell's broadcast too." Mr. Witchell again angered Charles, with remarks he made while delivering commentary on Princess Margaret and the Queen Mother's deaths in 2002. Tensions erupted further after Charles gave a now infamous interview prior to his marriage with Camilla in 2005, in which he was heard muttering under his breath about Mr. Witchell. Mr. Levy noted that this was when William appears to have adopted his father's dislike of Witchell, as the BBC journalist attempted to ask him and his brother Prince Harry for their thoughts on Charles' impending nuptials. Mr. Levy said that following these episodes, a series of important scoops would be handed to rival broadcasters, such as Sky and ITV. This included when a television documentary crew from ITV were given access to Camilla's friends, in what Mr. Levy described was a move by Charles to exact revenge on the BBC. He added, "Some of Camilla's best friends were wheeled out to bat for her cause, and put her in a positive light, something Charles may have feared the BBC could not be trusted to do." Prince Harry's 21st birthday interview is another event which, in years gone by, would automatically have gone to the BBC. The interview, broadcast around the world, went, rather surprisingly, to Sky, with its then royal correspondent Catherine Whitty asking the questions. Clarence House denied snubbing the BBC, and perhaps most tellingly, ITV's Tom Bradby, then a royal correspondent, was given William and Kate, Duchess of Cambridge's engagement announcement interview, coverage ordinarily handed to the BBC. Mr. Witchell remains with the BBC but reportedly as bewildered Charles dislikes him so much, Mr. Levy concluded. He added, "He sees himself as having done nothing more than his job as a broadcaster, giving the facts clearly and without bias to the public." More recently, Mr. Witchell was under fire after describing tensions between Harry and William when the pair were seen chatting together at their grandfather Prince Philip's funeral earlier this year. At the time, Harry had recently appeared in a landmark interview on CBS with Oprah Winfrey, in which the royal criticized aspects of the firm. In his piece after Philip's funeral, Mr. Witchell wrote, "There is a rift. It is a distraction nobody would have wanted on a solemn occasion such as this, and certainly not the grieving grandmother. William feels let down and Harry appears to feel resentful. He is also very caught up in the lifestyle and attitudes of California. So what impact, one wonders, will this brief but intense re-immersion in his old life have had on Harry?" Viewers voiced their anger on social media, with many claiming the brothers should be allowed to mourn in peace, as opposed to having their interactions scrutinized.